Thank you, Nina and Ricky. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines. Tonight, we're following major developments on the international stage in Washington and a sad loss in Hollywood. First, Ukrainian President Zelensky has announced a preliminary security agreement with the United States, and he's calling it a vital first step, but insists on stronger guarantees before finalizing the deal. President Trump has confirmed he'll meet with Zelensky this Friday in Washington, where he expects the agreement to be signed. Next, Elon Musk joins President Trump's first full cabinet meeting. The tech billionaire pushes for significant cuts in government spending and is urging federal agencies to prepare for more layoffs. And finally, a somber note, Hollywood is mourning the loss of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife. Local media in New Mexico report the couple were found dead in their Santa Fe home. Authorities say there's no initial indication of foul play. And the news starts now. U.S. President Donald Trump said Volodymyr Zelensky would visit Washington on Friday to sign an agreement on rare earth minerals, while the Ukrainian leader said the success of the deal would hinge on those talks and continued U.S. aid. Under the deal, which Ukraine's prime minister has called preliminary, Kiev would hand some revenue from its mineral resources to a fund jointly controlled by the U.S. And the agreement is central to Ukrainian attempts to win strong support from Trump as he seeks a quick end to Russia's war.
This agreement could be part of future security guarantees. But I want to understand, an agreement is an agreement, but we need to understand the broader vision. What lies next for Ukraine, where we are in all of this?
Now, Trump said Zelensky would sign the agreement on rare earths and other topics during his visit.
President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement. And I want to thank Howard and Scott for the job you guys did in putting it together. Really did an amazing job. And that'll be on rare earth and other things.
But suggested Washington would not make far-reaching security guarantees.
Well, I'm not going to make security guarantees beyond very much. We're going to have Europe do that because it's in, we're talking about Europe as the next door neighbor. But we're going to make sure everything goes well. And as you know, we'll be really partnering with Ukraine in terms of rare earth. We very much need rare earth. They have great rare earth.
Kiev has been seeking U.S. security guarantees as part of the deal cast by Trump as a payment for U.S. aid to Kiev during the war. Condition of the deal, a move Trump frames as part of the overall support Ukraine has been receiving since Russia invaded in 2022.
The main thing for me is we are not debtors. There is no $500 billion debt in the agreement, nor $350, nor $100 billion, because that would be unfair.
M. Stephen Fish, a political science professor at UC Berkeley, slammed the deal as an absolute absurdity.
For the United States to try to extract $500 billion in mineral resources from Ukraine after giving Ukraine about $60 billion in aid is an absolute absurdity. Not only is it obviously completely lopsided, but we need to keep in mind that Ukraine has been defending the United States and our West European allies and our European allies more generally from Russian aggression ever since Russia invaded Ukraine for the second time in 2022. The Ukrainians have been doing the fighting and dying. All we've done is provide some aid, which is a pittance compared to what we've gotten from them, which is defending Europe against Russian aggression.
At the same time, Trump's rush to bring an end to the war in Ukraine and his sudden softening toward Moscow has raised serious concerns. Critics worry that his approach might force the U.S. into making too many concessions to Putin, potentially putting the security of Ukraine and Europe at risk and shifting the entire geopolitical landscape.
Trump is saying that he sides with Putin and that he doesn't side with Zelensky. He's very hostile to Zelensky, like he is to our traditional allies. And then to say that, well, you should fork over $500 billion in rare earth minerals in response to all this wonderful treatment I'm giving you is beyond surreal. And it's just the kind of thing we can expect from Trump. I can't imagine West European leaders engaging in this kind of nonsense.
Now, new reports indicate North Korea has sent additional troops to Russia. South Korean intelligence suggests a further deployment, though the exact number remains unclear. According to South Korean media, citing the National Intelligence Service, these troops have been sent to Russia's Kursk region, and this area has seen intense fighting, with Ukrainian forces pushing across the border into western Russia. Attempts to reach the National Intelligence Service for comment were unsuccessful. However, this follows previous reports from the NIS that North Korea has already deployed over 11,000 troops to support Russia in the Ukraine war. There are also claims from Ukraine and Western experts that Russian forces are using North Korean weapons. It's important to note that North Korea has not officially acknowledged any military support for Russia in the ongoing conflict. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration ordered federal agencies to undertake more large-scale layoffs of workers, while the president let downsizing czar Elon Musk take a star role at his first cabinet meeting and discuss his ambitious budget-cutting targets. A new memo instructed agencies to submit plans by March 13 for a significant reduction in staffing to a federal workforce already reeling from waves of layoffs and program cuts by Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE.
I'd like to add that those million people that haven't responded, though, Elon, they are on the bubble. I wouldn't say that we're thrilled about it. They haven't responded. Now, maybe they don't exist. Maybe we're paying people that don't exist. Don't forget, we just got here. This group just got here. But those people are on the bubble, as they say. Maybe they're going to be gone. Maybe they're not around. Maybe they have other jobs. Maybe they moved and they're not where they're supposed to be. A lot of things could have happened. I wouldn't say that Biden ran a very tight administration. They spent money like nobody's ever spent money before. Wasted money. The Green New scam, all of the different things they spent money on.
Elon Musk addressed U.S. President Donald Trump's first cabinet meeting of the new administration, saying his mission to cut government spending was urgent.
The overall goal here with the DOGE team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rates, just the interest on the national debt, now exceeds the Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here. And taking a lot of flack, and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I'd like to stack them up, But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done.
Trump continued to give his full backing to Musk's Department of Government Efficiency cost-cutting team known as DOGE. Here's what he said when asked by a reporter if he was getting any pushback from members of his cabinet.
Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, well, throw them out of here.
Federal workers are unhappy with Musk's approach and have sued to protect their jobs, as have other groups who are seeking to block DOGE from accessing government systems and slashing programs. While Musk has waved a chainsaw on stage at a political event in a bold display of his group's efforts, his official role remains unclear, which has complicated the lawsuits against DOGE. When pressed by one judge about Musk's position, a Justice Department lawyer said, quote, "I don't have any information beyond close advisor to the president." The judge persisted, asking, "You can't tell me what role he has?" The initial executive order signed by Trump setting up DOGE described it primarily as an outfit to modernize software, not an agency. and designated Musk as a special government employee.
We're cutting down government. We're cutting down the size of government. We have to. We're bloated. We're sloppy. We have a lot of people that aren't doing their job. We have a lot of people that don't exist.
The scant information presented in court about who is ordering the cost cutting and how it is working has led some judges to rule in favor of Musk and Doge, at least for now. Though despite noting concerns about Doge's lack of transparency, some judges have found there is sufficient evidence to pause its activities.
Donald Trump has threatened to slap a 25% tariff on imports from the European Union, accusing the bloc of taking advantage of the United States.
We have made a decision. We'll be announcing it very soon, and it'll be 25%. Generally speaking, and that'll be on cars and all other things. And European Union is a different case than Canada, different kind of case. They've really taken advantage of us in a different way. European Union's it was formed in order to screw the United States. I mean, look, let's be honest. The European Union was formed in order to screw the United States. That's the purpose of it. And they've done a good job of it, but now I'm president.
What will happen if these countries or the EU retaliate?
They can't. I mean, they can try, but they can't.
China.
No, they can do it, and they can try, but the numbers can never equal what ours, because we can go off. We are the pot of gold. We're the one that everybody wants, and they can retaliate, but it cannot be a successful retaliation, because we just go cold turkey. We don't buy anymore, and if that happens, we win.
Are you talking to Eric Prince about...
This threat came during the first full meeting of his new administration, adding to a series of announcements about import charges targeting two of America's largest trading partners, Canada and Mexico. The European Commission quickly dismissed his threat as unjustified, promising that Europe would respond swiftly and firmly. While Trump didn't share many details, he said an official announcement was coming soon and stressed that what he sees as an unfair trading partnership. The heart of Hawaii's Big Island is beating with fire once more. Kilauea volcano, a constant presence in the lives of Hawaiians, erupted again, sending lava fountains skywards. Now think of a 6-story building, then double it, and that's how high the molten rock reached. The USGS confirms the eruption, happening within the Kaluapele caldera, lasted about half a day. Though the lava remains within the summit, it continues a pattern of volcanic activity that began back in December, reminding us of the dynamic nature of this volcanic landscape. Meanwhile, tragedy struck Quezon City early this morning. A devastating fire ripped through a 3-story apartment in Barangay San Isidro, Galas, claiming the lives of at least 8 people. The fire, which erupted shortly after 2 a.m. on 19 de Agosto Street, was brought under control within an hour by responding firefighters. The Bureau of Fire Protection is now investigating the cause of the blaze and working to identify the victims. Arson investigators believe those who died were trapped as the fire rapidly consumed the building. Released Chinese military activity was detected around Taiwan, but although there was a spike in activity, Taiwan's defense ministry confirmed that live fire exercises had not taken place in the drill zone off the southwest coast. Following the report surge in Chinese military activity near Taiwan, 2 senior Taiwanese officials have confirmed that no live fire exercises were detected within China's designated drill zone. They characterized the activity as similar to recent Chinese military maneuvers in the South China Sea and near Australia, noting a pattern of exercises conducted without adequate prior notice.
Maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and the Indo-Pacific region is the greatest consensus of the international community. As a member of the region, China in recent days has been unilaterally conducting threatening and harassing activities near Vietnam, the Philippines, and the waters off New Zealand and Australia. Yesterday, February 26th, it drew an exercise area without warning on the international shipping route off Taiwan, claiming to conduct shooting training. This is a blatant violation of international conventions. It is not only a threat to international airspace, but also a threat to the safety of maritime navigation, creating a high risk and a blatant provocation to regional security and stability. The presidential office expresses severe condemnation.
One official described this lack of warning as extremely rare and exceeding general expectations. The officials also emphasized the need for risk management among democratic allies, indicating ongoing discussions. Meanwhile, Taiwan's foreign ministry has labeled China the biggest troublemaker in the region, calling for international condemnation of China's repeated and unilateral actions. Notably, when questioned in Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump declined to comment on whether the U.S. would intervene if China attempted to take control of Taiwan by force.
I never comment on that. I don't comment on anything because I don't want to ever put myself in that position. And if I said it, I certainly wouldn't be saying it to you. I'd be saying it to other people, maybe people around this table, and very specific people around this table. So I don't want to put myself in that position. I have a great relationship with President Xi. I've had a great relationship with him. We want them to come in and invest. I see so many things saying that we don't want China in this country. That's not right. We want them to invest in the United States. That's good. That's a lot of money coming in, and we'll invest in China. We'll do things with China. The relationship we'll have with China will be a very good one.
Meanwhile, China's military released a video of many warships carrying out drills at an unidentified location at sea. China's defense ministry said the drills, which had alarmed Taiwan off its coast, were routine and the island should stop complaining.
台有关部门针对解放军例行演训活动发表的言论纯属炒作，我们要求其停止耍心机、蹭热点。
In another development, New Zealand's foreign minister said he raised concerns over China's recent live-fire drills in the Tasman Sea during meetings with Chinese leaders on Wednesday. The issue was a lack of notice given to New Zealand over the military exercises off its coast, according to Winston Peters.
We mentioned the recent event with respect to the naval exercises from China and the irony of the use of naval weaponry in the Taiwan situation just in the last 24 hours, and talk to them about the lack of notice that you would expect for a country like ours in a relationship with China to have had. Well, we placed it on in the context of, look, we've had this special relationship which was first begun in 2008 and expanded upon. We're in our second decade of this arrangement, and this is a failure in it at this time, and we'd like to have it corrected into the future.
What exactly is the failure?
The failure to give us adequate notice.
A massive raid in Pasay City has dismantled an alleged international scam hub, leading to the arrest of over 400 foreign workers. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOC, reports that operatives from the PNP CIDG and the DOJ Office of Cybercrime, acting on a tip from a concerned citizen, raided the One Wheels condominiums. And here's what they discovered inside.
Specifically yung Pasay City Police Station. And ito ay nagresulta sa pagkakakuha natin ng 391 foreign nationals. At marami rin tayong Pilipinong nakuha, mga kulang-kulang 50 na mga Pilipinos na nagwo-work dito sa Pogo Hub na ito. May mga nakita tayo na mga computers na ginagamit nila sa lab scam operation. Meron tayong mga computers na nakita na ginagamit nila sa cryptocurrency at sa investment scam. At meron din mga text blasters na nakita sa loob na kung saan ito ay ginagamit para makapag-text blast ng mga scamming activities na kanilang i-introduce. Ito yung mga halimbawa sa loan scam, ito yung sa mga pag nag-click ka pwede ka maging ma-scam once na nag-click ka ron sa pinadala nilang mga link.
The Pasay City government has issued a cease and desist order shutting down the operation for operating without a permit and violating President Marcos' ban on pogos. A small victory, but a massive problem remains. 84 Indonesian nationals rescued from scam centers in Myanmar's Miyawadi have been repatriated through Thailand. While this marks progress, a Thai lawmaker is sounding the alarm, claiming that hundreds of thousands of people are still trapped in these illegal operations along the Thai-Myanmar border.
And the number of the people, from what I know, in Chowekoko, maybe, the victim and also the boss or the Chinese who really want to work on this business, maybe overall it's around 100,000 people. KK Park, another place that's really big, maybe it can be another 100,000 people. So overall, in just only Myanmar, we are talking about the number of, the people involved in this industry of the scam. Maybe it could be like 300,000 people. And now, how many people that we rescue? Less than 10,000. So, we are talking that the scale of this kind of business that we destroy, maybe less than 10%.
In Parliament today, Thai Prime Minister Paitengtorn Shinawat said the issue of scam centers is an urgent matter the government was addressing. Although scam centers around Miyawadi and other frontier towns have operated for years, they came under renewed focus after the abduction of Chinese actor Wang Xing in Thailand last month, which kicked off a social media firestorm in his home country. Wang Xing was later found in the Miyawadi area, rescued and sent back to China. More than 7,000 foreigners, mostly from China, are waiting to cross from Miyawadi into Thailand, which is coordinating with multiple embassies to streamline their repatriations. A tragic development in the United States. A child in West Texas has died from measles. State health officials confirmed the death, marking the first U.S. death from measles in a decade. Take a look.
A child in West Texas has died of measles, according to Texas health officials Wednesday. It's the first reported U.S. death in a decade from the highly contagious disease. It came as confirmed cases reached more than 130 across both Texas and now New Mexico. Officials say the ongoing outbreak began in a rural Mennonite community, which was close-knit and under-vaccinated, and where children are largely homeschooled. Most of the infected were small children and teenagers. Measles was declared eliminated in the United States in 2000. During a Wednesday briefing announcing the death of the child, Chief Medical Officer for Covenant Health Service Area, Dr. Lara Johnson, stressed the importance of vaccination.
We were confident that we'd eradicated measles from the United States and had really gotten to a point where we just didn't see these kinds of outbreaks happening. Obviously, that has changed over the last 20-something years. When we think about vaccine-preventable illnesses, they're only preventable if we have adequate vaccination rates. And as we see those rates start to decline, across the nation, then we'll see more outbreaks.
During a meeting of U.S. President Donald Trump's cabinet on Wednesday, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said 2 people had died in the Texas outbreak, though he did not give any details on the other victim. Officials say at least 124 people were known to be infected in West Texas since early February. All but 5 of them were unvaccinated. An additional 9 cases were announced on Tuesday in eastern New Mexico near the Texas state line, where the outbreak has spread to about 10 counties. Officials also say a contagious Gaines County resident traveled to several locations in and around San Antonio, nearly 400 miles away.
And the news continues here on NET25. We'll be right back. Nvidia's strong growth forecast for the first quarter signaled that booming demand for its artificial intelligence chips was intact, and the company said orders for its new Blackwell semiconductors were amazing. Ryan Chang reports.
Nvidia's boss says there's still life in the AI boom. The company posted an upbeat growth forecast for its first quarter Wednesday, helping to soothe worries that demand for Nvidia hardware would cool off after DeepSeek burst onto the scene. Last month, the Chinese AI startup claimed it developed AI models at a fraction of the cost of Western rivals like OpenAI. The shock saw Nvidia lose $593 billion in market value, the largest one-day loss for any US company. However, in an earnings call Wednesday night, CEO Jensen Huang said orders for Nvidia's new flagship Blackwell AI chips were, quote, amazing, and that booming demand for AI chips was intact. Nvidia expects a total revenue of $43 billion for the first quarter, compared with analysts' estimates of just under $41.8 billion. But the Santa Clara-based chipmaker says gross margins will be slightly lower. That's due to the costly and complicated ramp-up of the Blackwell chips. Earlier this week, a Reuters exclusive said Chinese companies are buying up Nvidia's H20 chips at record rates due to booming demand for DeepSeek's low-cost AI. Those chips are capped in power as part of US sanctions. The Trump administration is now considering restrictions on H20 sales to China. Speaking to Reuters, co-founder of IDX Advisors Ben McMillan said potential extreme measures under the Trump administration, such as capping the quantity or types of Nvidia chips to China, could be a real concern to the AI powerhouse.
I think the bigger concern is that if it does get more extreme, you might see China start to reduce demand and pivot to internally sourced chips, or again just something out of what we saw with DeepSeek, where they just figure out how to do more with the lower tier Nvidia chips, which aren't banned.
In more positive news for Nvidia, its Spectrum X Ethernet for networking was chosen for Trump's Stargate data center project, according to CFO Colette Kress. Nvidia shares bounced between gains and losses in extended trading Thursday, after closing up 3.7% in regular trading, while the news seemed to put a rally in China and Hong Kong over DeepSeek on pause, with stocks broadly falling.
President Trump is facing backlash after sharing an AI-generated video that transforms the Gaza Strip into a luxury resort dubbed Trump Gaza. Posted on Truth Social and Instagram, the video features lavish scenes including a Trump-branded hotel, golden statues, and clips of Trump with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Elon Musk enjoying a beachside locale. Now, the video follows Trump's controversial proposal for the U.S. to take over Gaza, relocate its 2 million residents to neighboring countries like Egypt and Jordan, and redevelop the area as the Riviera of the Middle East. International leaders, human rights groups, and Palestinian authorities have widely condemned the plan, calling it ethnic cleansing and a violation of international law. And finally, a somber note, Hollywood is mourning the loss of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife.
This is Gene Hackman. Happy holidays.
The two-time Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman has died. He passed away at home alongside his wife, pianist Betsy Arakawa, and their dog, according to the sheriff's office in Santa Fe, New Mexico on Thursday. There was no suspicion of foul play, the sheriff's office said in a statement. However, the exact cause of death is still undetermined, and an investigation is currently underway. Gene Hackman, a former Marine known for his raspy voice, appeared in more than 80 films, as well as television and the stage, during a lengthy career that started in the early 1960s. He received his first Oscar nomination for playing Clyde Barrow's brother in the 1967 film Bonnie and Clyde. It was his role as rumpled New York detective Popeye Doyle in The French Connection that assured his stardom and earned him a Best Actor Academy Award. Hackman's face, which he described as that of an everyday mine worker, allowed him to play both menacing and friendly characters. He retired in his 70s, saying the parts he was offered were too grandfatherly.
We did the kind of things that actors love.
And with that, we end tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on NET25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you for joining us. Good night.